What's cracking, everybody? Zary Maggie Rose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle content. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Pidgeot in the Great League with the new buff to Wing Attack. I'm telling you right now, dude, Pidgeot is busted AF. And the reason why is because Wing Attack allows you to get to the Feather Dance in 14 turns. That's 7 Wing Attacks. That's extremely quick, and that outpaces so many things that actually threaten the Pidgeot to the point where you can just debuff the attack and then just go from there. So it also makes a really good, if you win the lead, it makes a really good pivot. So you could just Wing Attack up to Feather Dance and then swap out. So we've got a double ground backline here with G-Fisk being our safe swap. Usually, I mean, I can safe swap the Swampert too. It's kind of an interchangeable thing depending on what you think might be in the back. But let's get into these videos. Real quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best community, best group that I've ever been a part of. And right away you get a Bastion lead, and this sucks. So gotta come in with the G-Fisk, and here comes a freaking Medicham. So I'm getting hard counted in the lead, hard counted in the swap. Let's see what the opponent's got in the back and see how just boned I am. But if you want to be part of the Patreon community, I have a Discord community that I've got. It's a really wonderful group of people. Everybody's always looking to get better at Go Battle League and Pokemon Go in general every day, and we're all helping each other get there. So there's a link in the description to the Patreon link, and then if you're looking for coaching, I have a Medify link in the description as well. If you're looking to get some coaching for PvP, looking to improve, hit the next level, doesn't matter if you're ace, veteran, or legend, anything is still something to be proud of. So I'm going to come in here with my Pidgeot. The opponent's got like 2 Ice Punches loaded at this point, so I'm going to basically tank one, shield the next, and then I'm just going to go into Swampert and just hope that the shield advantage means that I can, or not so much shield advantage, but I'll have a slight energy advantage when I swap, and then I'm just kind of hoping that what they've got in the back is, you know, something that Swampert can take care of. So in comes Swampert, Bastion comes in, and here comes a Trevenant, and this is actually terrible. So I've gotten RPS'd all the way from beginning to end, and I'm pretty sure I just lose this game. And this game is a loss, but it doesn't mean the rest of these are bad games. It's actually a very good showing of Pidgeot after getting boned by this set, but I'm just going to do this because I'm showing you guys that I'm not just cherry picking my battles. I'm showing you the bad ones as well. And normally, if I had that extra shield, if I hadn't shielded up, if I hadn't bothered to shield up the Pidgeot, I could have potentially gone 2-to-1 shields to get the 2 Hydro Cannons off needed to KO the Trev. So that was still potentially a winnable game. I just was like, man, I should probably keep my Pidgeot somewhat healthy. But no, instead, we get the good lead now. And honestly, I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on leads with this team. But the thing is that if the opponent stays in a lead like this, usually it's a good sign. And because they overfarmed and didn't go straight for Ice Punch, either they don't have it, which is the more likely of the scenario. Why are you grabbing my shirt? Is there something in there that you're trying to find? You're not going to find anything in there, I promise. So they're going to go for the Psychic after being debuffed, and they do shield up the Feather Dance, so this is really good for me, and I'm going to be able to get to another move here. Now this, I think this was a bit quick to get to another Psychic, but I'm going to shield it up. It was just a power-up punch. They did not have the Ice Punch, but I do shield it up just because I want to be able to get to the Feather Dance and potentially KO here, or I want to be able to get the other shield. So I'm going to get the Feather Dance off. My opponent decides to shield this, so now they are essentially 3-stage debuff, going for a power-up punch, and my Pidgeot lives with a smidge of HP, gets off this Feather Dance, and I'm going to be able to win the lead here, which is nice. However, I don't know what they have in the back. I can't really swap out of this, though. That's the unfortunate thing. So what my opponent has in the back is a Victory Bell, so now that I've got alignment, this is very good for me, because I can go for the Earthquake on my G-Fisk, and I can overfarm by just a wee bit here, but I don't. I just go for the Earthquake because I figure, okay, well, they have Bastion on the back, which, considering that they've got Medicham and Victory Bell, I find that to be very likely. There's the Bastion. I just throw out my Swampert just to show them that they have not a chance, and, you know, any of the 9 circles have held to win, and I let them make the decision to surrender. So that was still a good game, but I think that all hinged on me winning the lead with Pidgeot. If that had taken me out, would have been in a bad spot. Now Medicham lead, swaps into Lantern. Have a feeling we've got a Noctowl in the back. I'm looking to hopefully make to keep alignment here, but I think I made the mistake of not coming in with my G-Fisk. I should have come in with G-Fisk because I wanted it to avoid the the Medicham. Now, I'm going to go for a bait here because I'm already behind, and my opponent doesn't even bother to shield. So they're at a point now, though, where I can start shielding and going straight Hydro Cannon because I don't need to worry about, you know, I can literally, if I land a Hydro Cannon at this point, I should be able to farm down. So I'm going to go up to a couple Hydro Cannons and fire them off. I need to win switch here. That's the only way that I win this whole thing is I win switch, because I'm definitely expecting there to be, you know, Lick a Tongue or Noctowl in the back, and the opponent just says, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm done. So it's a good game. I don't know what they had in the back, but I was definitely expecting it to be the Noctowl. So in hindsight, better that I didn't bring in the Stunfisk. So I guess I must have forgot to cut out some of the Q times in this set too. That's unlike me. I must be the sicky brain. Ninetales in the lead. This is a little bit sketchy because I've only got one strong answer to it, and because it's Charm, that means I have the ability to get to the Feather Dance before they do. And because of the fact that I get to the Feather Dance, the mind games now become a thing, because my opponent thinks that, oh, this could be a Brave Bird, I should shield this because they could Brave Bird and dip, and I Feather Dance and dip instead. But my opponent counter swaps to Trevenant, which is entirely smart for them. Opponent didn't really need to throw the energy on their Ninetales. They kept it because of the Feather Dance debuff, but now I'm going to be able to get their Trevenant down low. And if the opponent decides not to throw on CMP, which they do, I could have potentially gotten another shield off of them. So I'm easily going to be able to come and farm down with Pidgeot. I'm not really worried about any of their moves here, but they do have quite a bit of energy, so they're just going to go for a move here. They could go for 2 Seed Bombs. I think that would probably be the smart play. But they go for Shadow Ball instead. Maybe they didn't... Hello. Maybe they didn't think that they could get to another move. Fine by me. Yes. So Ninetales is going to come back in, and we've got another move loaded for the Ninetales. Brave Bird is going to go through this time, and I'm going to be able to land it, and that is going to be worth a button because I have to play it. Almost KOs Ninetales. Mudshot will register and take out the Ninetales, and what they have in the back is a Sableye, so I'm looking pretty good here. 2-to-1 shields. I can probably just go straight Earthquake. I just need to land an Earthquake at this point, essentially. So my opponent either has to try and call the bait, or they get completely clapped. So yeah, let's hit it again, just because that was a lot of health. And then we get the Mudshot down, because I can just easily just farm down at this point. But I let it go because I know a foul play won't KO, and I just wanted 2 shield flex. It was fun. All right, 2 shield flex achieved. Let's go into the next game here. Opponent playing Double Ghost, not it's Pidgeot's favorite thing. And honestly, I don't like the Trevenant version of the Double Ghost as someone who's played it a lot myself. I just don't like it, just for the simple fact that, like, if you meet a fire type, you're done because of Trevenant having grass typing, but that's okay. I mean, there's not a whole lot of fire types, so in this case, I'm safe swapping my Swampert because Stunfisk is actually my hardest answer. And my opponent stays in, and I swap because it's Powder Snow Ninetales. If it's Charm Ninetales, I'm going to swap out, or stay in, go for the move, and then swap out. But because it's Powder Snow, I swap into my Swampert. And they come in with a Water Gun Lantern, so I'm just going to barely be able to get to another Hydro Cannon here, but it's still going to do a decent amount of chip damage. But now I have to reveal my Stunfisk, and that feels kind of bad. So it is in a range where I could go for a Rock Slide here, but I think that what I ought to be doing... Well, I go for the Rock Slide to try and clip them from getting a move. I want to force a shield here and get rid of this Lantern. And so they shield, which is fine, but they're in a right now where I can commit shields and farm down. So that, I believe, is what I'm going to do. And, hello, ow, that is painful, my sweet child. My sweet, sweet child. I'll commit my shields and then farm down, because that Ninetales is not going to appreciate rock being thrown at it. Ow. And I'm going to find out what happens next when the Ninetales throws the Weather Ball. You're going to grab something out of my head, aren't you? You stop that. You're destructive. Weather Ball is going to come through. I'm going to swap to Pidgeot, and immediately they come in with Registeel, and this is actually really weird. Okay, honey, baby, that is painful. We need to stop you from grabbing that part of my face. That hurts. I'm going to go for the Feather Dance here because I know that a Zap Cannon will not KO my Pidgeot at this point. And so what I'm kind of hoping to do here is farm up enough energy to be able to get my G-Fisk, a Rock Slide, and an Earthquake, but that's going to be... I don't know how that's going to go. But I'm going to basically try to go for 2 Brave Birds here and see what I can make happen. Now, the only way that I win this game is if my opponent somehow makes a miraculous mistake. I don't think that there's any... I'm pretty sure this is a hard loss. My opponent is basically playing a triple anti-flyer team, which to their credit is an extremely smart thing to do. I tried to swap out my G-Fisk at the last second. I could have probably thrown a move there instead of tapping for the fast move, but they're going to throw a Zap Cannon, which was really weird to me. And I don't know why they did that. I truly don't know why they did that. I think that if they just thrown the Focus Blast, they could have won the game, because now I'm going to be able to go for this Rock Slide. And I think that enough damage is registered, though, they're going to be able to lock on down. So, not quite going to be enough for me, even though they made a gigantic mistake. Maybe they don't have... maybe it's a single move Reggie, I don't know. But still well played to my opponent. They did very well. Outplayed me and also kind of out-RPS'd me a bit, too. Swampert lead is really good for Pidgeot, though. I'm kind of not sure if I should be shielding the first move or not, but they come in with Frostlass. I immediately answer with the G-Fisk. I'd like to maintain alignment here just because I know that my Pidgeot has a better is the better answer. Or I can just come in with my Swampert if it's got more shields. But Frostlass is still a very difficult Pokemon to overcome in this meta because it's just so strong. Having that Ghost, Ice typing, and a lot of attack to back it up makes it a very, very good pick for this Great League meta. Now, what I'm going to look to do here is I'm going to look to shield and actually farm down. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because the energy that I'm going to get from this farm down should hopefully be very impactful. I can go for an Earthquake against the Swampert, and I can force them to really want to question, are they going to shield or are they going to want to take an Earthquake? Because if they take the Earthquake, that's a problem. And if they over-farm, I'm going to get to another Earthquake before they can farm me down. And my opponent gets greedy, and I get to a second Earthquake, and that's going to cause them a whole lot of pain. Do they shield this one as well? I don't know. Nope, and I almost take him out. Pidgeot almost gets the snipe down, so I'm going to shield this because now what's going to happen, because that registered, the Wing Attack registered, my opponent's going to be down to a single Pokemon remaining. And it's a Bomb of Snow. That is dangerous. But because it's their last Pokemon remaining, I can safely go for the Feather Dance, debuff their attack by 2 stages, and make it so they have a lot less that they have that they can do against me. So I'm going to stay in, force them to throw their energy on their Weather Ball. And I think that they knew that I was going to throw the Feather Dance there. But they had to shield no matter what. So I'm going to be able to almost get to a Brave Bird. And this is where the match gets a little bit dicey, folks. Because the opponent just has to go for an Energy Ball against my Swampert. And I'm pretty sure that even with a double attack debuff, that's still going to be enough damage to knock me out. So, I need to get to an Earthquake or 2 Hydro Cannons to take this out, I'm pretty sure. So I count to 7, and that's the count for Energy Ball, and I'm able to catch the Energy Ball on my Stunfisk, and that is going to allow me to win this game. So, come back in with the Swampert, go for the Earthquake. My opponent knows it's already over, and they decide to concede. Well played to them, though. Good game. So Trevenant lead, got another positive lead here, and honestly, like I said, 50-50 on the good and bad leads. I'm just, you know, unfortunately all the games that I had where I was like, wow, I was able to debuff my opponent, and I was able to make, you know, win conditions through the debuffs. Those were all while I wasn't able to record, so quite unfortunate that I wasn't able to get all those games. Still a really strong showcase of this team. Just showing how quickly Pidgeot can get to its moves, and honestly in Ultra League is where it's going to shine its brightest. I'm already ready to completely just whip out my Pidgeot next week in Ultra League, and I think it's going to be super strong. My opponent doesn't shield baits, and I mean, I got to go for another one because I need to get a shield here. I cannot let this Lantern walk away with 2 shields. So thankfully, because of the fact that my opponent shielded, now I'm a little bit more okay with letting this go because I know that I'm not going to get KO'd by it. And I got close enough to it. I'm hoping that maybe they lost count because I was 1 shy of the Earthquake. My opponent did not care. They said, nope, you threw too early, so I'm going to shield because I think I can Mud Shot down here. And Switch is definitely ideal because they have a Trevenant in the lead. I definitely cannot let that anywhere near my Pidgeot, but thankfully the Mud Shot damage is enough. I'm going to be able to throw a Rock Slide here into the Trevenant. I'm going to try and go for a second one, but I think that Shadow Claw is probably going to take me out. But nope, it did not quite register, so I'm going to be able to get 1 more Mud Shot in, go for this Rock Slide, and do a lot of damage to this Trevenant. And then the Pidgeot is going to be able to match itself back up against them. And I have 2 shields, and they've got a Stunfisk. So I am going to debuff the attack. That's going to make this a much better matchup for Stunfisk. But the reason why I over-farmed there and didn't throw right away is because I wanted them to throw the Rock Slide before I threw the Feather Dance. If I were to get this opponent to the point where their attack was debuffed, I want to make sure that my Swampert has as much of an advantage as it can. And them having an attack debuff like that means that even the Earthquake won't KO. So they have to basically go for an Earthquake and then some. And I can just go for 2 Hydro Cannons to take this out. So I was forcing them to throw the energy by not throwing the Feather Dance straight away. Now, this is a CMP tie. And if one of my opponent's switch clock isn't up, which I'm guessing it's getting very close to being. Which it is, unfortunately, but they come in with Trevenant. They're forced to come in with the Trevenant to get rid of the debuff. Hydro Cannon is enough to take it out, so I just need to get to Hydro Cannon before the opponent can get to an Earthquake to try and take out my... Oh, but they get to a move. Is this a Rock Slide or is it an Earthquake? I don't remember how much energy they had. It's just a Rock Slide. They don't have enough. And that doesn't even KO Shadow Swampert, and Shadow Swampert is going to be able to take this game. And honestly, I put Pidgeot on the thumbnail, but Swampert kind of does all the work on this team, let's be honest. So Shadow Swampert takes that one, and that is well played to my opponent. If that Rock Slide had been enough to KO, that would have been a very different story. And we have a Shadow Skarmory on the lead. When we're talking about lead losses, this is one of the worst ones. And my opponent comes in with a freaking Scrafty, nonetheless. That is not going to be any help to me whatsoever. There you are. You can see. So they shield up the Earthquake, so I'm going to go for another Earthquake. I don't need to shield anything here. I know that I've lost this matchup. I'd rather get the energy. I'd rather get the energy on my Pidgeot. I know that even though the Skarmory is... I couldn't even get to the I couldn't even get to the Earthquake. I know that the Skarmory is still Shadow, but I mean, because it's Shadow, it means that that Brave Bird might hit just a bit harder. So I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here because I don't want my opponent to be able to get any more damage off than they already have with a Powered Up Punch boost. So the Brave Bird goes through, absolutely destroys Scrafty and 10 of its children. And so Skarmory's going to come in, and my opponent is running an ABA Seal team, but because they've got a G-Fisk in the back, that's going to allow me to get to as much energy as I want because I have 2 shields and they have to go for an Earthquake or they're kind of screwed. And now... they shield up. I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. I will shield up. They're going to go for Rock Slides here. They have to. There's no reason for them to go for the Earthquakes at this point. And I'm going to go straight for my own Earthquake here just to guarantee the KO and not let this thing get under shield or any more chip damage off on me. Excuse you. Madam, this is not okay. And I just need to get to 2 Hydro Cannons against this Skarmory, and that should be enough to be able to take this game. And there it is. Now I do, just in case I do decide to catch, the opponent will be forced to throw energy. I can conserve my shield just in case. They do decide to undercharge, which is a very good move by them. If I can get to the Brave Bird before they can take me out, good. If not, no. But unfortunately for them, I am 1 shy of the Hydro Cannon. So 1 Mud Shot gets Swampert to the move, and that's going to be a good game. Very well played. Fun team with Pidgeot. Basically, Pidgeot double ground to help deal with the steals, which are its hardest counters. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope your Great League's going well. Let me know in the comments how it's going. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. And trust me, there's more coming, especially with this cute little thing. She just can't help herself. So, she doesn't do this unless she's on the camera, by the way. Just in case anyone wondered. So, thank you all. Have a good one, and I will talk to you. We'll see you in the next video. Catch you later. Bye-bye.